Hey, how y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, today I want to do a tune and lube on my new Military 2, Spyderco Military 2. Oh, I see Juna waking up over there. She must come get in the video. That's my girl. That's my girl. Stretching out a little bit. That's my sweetie. Hope everybody's doing great today. Today is the July 29th, Saturday, July 29th, my day off. Kind of hot outside right now, so I'm gonna go for a little ride a little bit later when it cools down a little bit. Take the old Harley Davidson Springer out. Go around terrorizing the town. Setting off car alarms. Anyway, hope everybody's doing good out there. It's a nice day outside. It's just hot. It's another hot day. It's been hot for like the last couple of weeks. What you doing, sweetie? What you doing? Huh? Want to come up here and say hi real quick before I start taking everything apart? Because once I get things apart, you can't come up here, sweetie. Want to come up here right now? You got your claw caught in my pants, huh? There you go. Got them karambits are sharp. Got some sharp karambits. That's right. You just want Grandpa to pet you, huh? That's my girl. That's my girl. Okay, I'm going to get started. You come up here? Look like you want to hop up here. Thinking about it? Oh, you want to wait until I pull out some screws so you can hop up on the table then, huh? Goofy girl. All right, let's get started on this one. There it is there, people. I really love this knife. I think it's awesome. When this is in my pocket, I forget I have a knife in my pocket. It's just like, sort of like carrying a 80-20.5 to me. It's not too much different in weight from an 80-20.5 once you modify them and stuff. Especially if you put like titanium scales or aluminum scales on them. They weigh about the same amount as this one. It's a beautiful knife to carry. I love the size of it. I like the way it functions. I like the fact that if the blade was to fail and it folded in my hand, it's not going to cut me up. So I consider this a fairly safe knife. As y'all know, I don't think of liner locks, compression locks, plunge locks, all those different lock groups. I don't think of them as like being like super strong knives. So if you get one of those kind of knives, I always recommend that you get one with either a big flipper that engulfs your finger, so when the knife folds in your hand, it keeps it from folding all the way in your hand and cutting you up with the blade. Or you get like a knife like this with a nice size forward finger choil. Because usually knives have a nice size forward finger choil that goes into the blade area of the knife. That'll protect your fingers too, like this one does. This one, the Manix 2XL works the same way as this one. Just like all the old cold steel knives. They were designed by Andrew Demko. They're designed that if the blade was to fail, it still doesn't chop up your fingers. Because the blade tang sticks out far enough to save your fingers. But anyway, let's get into this one. The only thing I wish that they would do on this one, I might, because I want to get one of the DLC finished ones, because I see that they're coming out with the DLC finished ones with either black scales or camel scales, or you can get them 50-50 serrated or full serrated. And so those are going to be like the choices, but they're all S30V, CPM S30V blades, which is very good because I found, I haven't had any issues with the Spyderco S30V because I've been using it for a while now, and it holds its edge very well. It's a very good steel, but I would like to try like an S45V out and see what that one's like, because I have the S35 VN steels and lots of different knives and stuff like that, so I know what that's pretty much like. But I don't have any knives with the S45, so I think this one in the S45 or even Magna Cut. Now Magna Cut would be the ultimate. I know a Magna Cut knife like this, from Spyderco probably costs over $300. But I'd like to see S45V in this knife in particular. All right, people, let's take this one apart. I take these apart from the side with the actual lock mechanism or the compression lock. So let's go ahead and do that. See if I can take it apart the same way I've taken these apart before in the past. Okay, this is a T6. I just want all the different sizes out here to show you what you use on this. T6 is for the pocket clip screws. Those are only T6 screws. The T8s, these are two T8s in case I need two T8s to take off these screws. The body screws are T8, and the pivot screws are T10. All right, people. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Tools I use are Craftsman tools. I like Craftsman tools because, you know, they're made out of really good tempered steel and stuff like that. But you know, the bad downside about them is that all the Sears where I used to get my tools from is closed now. At the mall that I used to, you know, it's in my area, the Sunrise Mall. The rear part I never take apart unless you want to change the scales and do that. I use a puller. I don't see the puller being out, so I can't. Oh, here it is. This is a Spyderco puller that you use to pull up the scales. That's the way I do it, because then you don't damage the scales as you pull them off. Sort of like a steering wheel puller in a car. Works the same way. This should be a D-shaped pivot. Yeah, D-shaped pivot. Let me show it to you guys. I don't know if you'll be able to tell by looking at it this way. It's a D-shaped pivot, only goes in one way. Nice bronze, phosphor bronze washers. Go ahead and wipe down everything really good. This is a brand new knife, so it's not even dirty yet. Just got this knife yesterday on the 28th of July on Friday. I had them on pre-order forever at the Knife Center. Also, Blade HQ has these, but you have to pay for that pre-order. But they're showing all the different types of knives that they're going to be having. So if you're interested in that, you know, I would go check it out. Also like to clean out the threads. Because Spyderco uses a lot of Loctite, a lot of blue Loctite on their stuff. I like to clean off all that excess Loctite because I don't need it. Now on the body screws, I clean off the excess Loctite because I don't re-Loctite it because I like to be able to take my knives apart. The only thing I'll Loctite is the pivot screws. And I put that back together. I use blue Loctite. Just to keep the pivot screws from coming loose. From a lot of my fidgeting that you know I'm going to be doing with this thing. Clean off the pivot itself. Where's my blue Loctite? There's my blue Loctite that I use. This is Militech 1 gun oil with lithium-based gun oil, and this is Militech 1 gun grease, lithium-based gun grease. This is in a different container than it originally came in because it comes in a grease gun tube, a 16-ounce grease gun tube, and you know, those can be a pain in the butt to use. So I pull all the grease out of it and put it into a glass container. All right, let's get done. Let's get down on this one. Let's go ahead and get this party started. First, I'm going to do the one that has to be held in by the pivot. Just take a little dab of grease, rub it in between my fingers, and then coat the washer with it. And that's it. Wipe out my fingers. This one you're going to have to put it in. And you can see like one side is D-shaped. One side is D-shaped. And that's the side that the pocket clip goes on. And the other side is circular, so it goes in one way. Go ahead and set that on there. The grease will help hold it on there too. You take your D-shape pivot, and you find out where the D-shape is, the flat spot. It's right there, it goes on the bottom. It has to fit all the way in. Then I take a little drop of oil, lithium-based oil, drop it on there. Take my blade, make sure your pivot's all the way in, lay it back down, and make sure your pivot stays seated. And the smart way to do this, I'll go ahead and do it first. Watch your fingers, is to screw this in. Make a little bit of blue Loctite too. Only put a little bit of blue Loctite, not a whole gob full. Take your T10, just screw it in finger tight just so it holds in the pivot and holds in the washer in place. So now you have to worry about popping back out. Go ahead and take your other washer, lube your fingers like you did the first one. Put a nice little light coat of oil on them. And this one, now it looks like it's coated, like the detent ball track is coated with something. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on it too. A little bit of drop of oil. And then the washer goes on next. Now it's just a matter of putting everything back together. Make sure everything's popped in place and it's fitting nice and tight. I like to take this screw for the stop pin and put that one in first. Helps hold everything in place. Grab your T8. You hold that there. And knock my other screw on the floor. Might knock the other screw on the floor. Hold it, people. Oh, there it is. It's on the table. Just couldn't see, it was blending in with the black background. All right. Everything's looking good. Put a little bit of blue Loctite on this one too. The other pivot screw. Just a little bit. Now we need to check the centering, because lots of times these will go to the show side. That was looking pretty good right there. So a little bit off. The way I take care of that is I get some paper. Fold it all up. And I use this to help center out the blade as I tighten it. Now I want to unloosen my screws a little bit. The body screws also. And my pivot screws. Feels like one came out there. Loosened up too far. Okay. Lower my blade in here. Make this one a little bit thinner. Right about there. This looks like it's going to be a little bit thicker. Let you guys see what I'm doing. So now I can tighten it up. Put my grease and stuff away. Don't need this out anymore. Militech one's what I always use. I know there's a lot of fancy different kinds of greases out there to use for knives. But you get these big old jars of Militech one and gun oil and gun grease, lithium-based gun grease is good for your guns and stuff too. I even use it on like the motorcycle cables and stuff on my motorcycle. That's how I lube them. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's do the body screws first so we can see where we're at. Looks pretty good right there. Let you guys see. These kind with these screws on each side can be kind of finicky sometimes. And so that's the reason why I use Loctite on them, because I get them to where I want them to be, because you don't want to torque them down tight. You want to take them all the way down and then back them off a little bit. That's usually the sweet spot. And then you let the Loctite do its thing and glue it, basically glue itself in. But you want to torque them down all the way tight, because then they'll usually throw it off the blade. You want to get to where it's going to be center. And it still, functions good. So let's go ahead and take these out. See what we got. Pretty good. So a little bit to the one side, just a little bit. Let me see if I can change that. Feels a little bit tighter than I want it to be. Still a little bit too tight. Let me loosen up the body screws a little bit. Looks like he's trying to favor the show side. And the body screws on this side too, huh? Real close to where I want it to be. It's still not right exactly where I want it to be. That looks pretty good right there. Okay, let's tighten up this side. Solid right there. Feels like it's too tight though. Pretty close, people. Now it feels too tight again. A little bit tricky on these. There we go. That looks good. Let's see how it operates. Okay, there we go. All right. A little bit tricky on these on the adjustments though, people. They're not as easy to adjust as like a cold steel or 80-20 or something like that, or 80-10. I got it. Now I'll let this one sit for a couple days because I want that Loctite to dry. Because right now the pivot screws feel a little bit loose. You know, like if I was because I could easily adjust them. So I need to let the Loctite dry. You know, dry into those different positions. Looking good. But I think I'm gonna put a plug on this one. I don't know. I don't know how that worked with the pocket clip like that. So maybe I won't put a plug on it. So I'm not a big lanyard hold fan, people, and they make plugs for these that look actually pretty nice. But I think I'm just gonna leave this one just the way it is. All right. Yep, there we go. Yep, it's staying in that position. Good to go. T6, T8s, and T10s is what you need. And a little bit of blue Loctite. I use lithium-based grease and oil. And if you do want to take off the scales, you know, some treat, you know they're gonna have custom scales for these. You want to get one of these tools. I got this off of I think it was eBay. Sharp Dressed Knives is where I got it from, I think, on eBay. All right, people. That's it for today. Just a little Tune Lube I was doing on this one. Get ready to carry, because you know I'll be fidgeting with it a whole lot, and I just want to have it all set up the way I like it. Absolutely love the military too. This is Soldier. I wish all ladies were pies on the shelf, and I was a baker. I eat them all myself. Say, Baba Reba, hey, Baba Reba. I wish all ladies were fishes in the ocean, and I was a big fish. I put them all in motion. Hey, Baba Reba, hey, Baba Reba. What you think, sweetie? I can't sing any of the ones with I can't do any of the cadences with curse words, huh? Because you know your grandpa was in the military in the late 70s and early 80s when we didn't have women in the infantry. So we got to sing all the cuss word cadences when we were doing our marches and jogging through the grape fields in Germany. But anyway, there you go, people. There you go. Stiletto. Peace out. Try to stay cool today.